First, the bad news. SAP Business AI won't generate amusing holiday cards, but it will personalize career paths for your employees and let you know which suppliers are best so you can be ready for the next opportunity. Revolutionary technology, real-world results. That's SAP Business AI.
High Five Casino lets you play your favorite slot and live table games like blackjack with the chance to redeem for real cash prizes. High Five Casino has a giant selection of over 1,200 games, including hundreds of exclusive games only found on High Five Casino. It's always free to play, and free coins are given out every 4 hours. Ready to have your own high five moment? Visit highfivecasino.com. That's high, the number 5, casino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey everyone, bienvenidos a Soy Violento, Soy Macabro podcast. Yo soy Ali.
Y yo soy Dee.
Y hoy Dee nos contará de un caso que sucedió en Victoria, Durango.
On March 30th, 2024, a 2-year-old girl was rushed into the emergency room unconscious. The person who brought her in claimed that she had fallen and hurt herself. However, as the medical staff examined her injuries, they began to uncover the horrific abuse she had endured at the hands of those who were meant to love and protect her. This week, we delve into the heartbreaking case of Madeline and how it threw shockwaves throughout the state of Durango. This is the tragic story of Madelaine Martinez Olivas.
Advertencia: la información de este caso puede ser desencadenante para algunos. Tengan en cuenta que algunos de estos casos pueden involucrar menores de edad, abuso, violación o violencia. Escuchen con precaución.
Warning: the information on this case can be triggering to some. Please be advised that some of these cases may involve children, abuse, rape, and violence. Listen with caution.
Estos juguetitos son con los que ella jugaba. Y esta es mi niña, vean qué hermosa está mi niña. Ella era una niña alegre, toda la gente la conocía, era una niña muy sonriente. Aquí se le dio pura felicidad, aquí se le dio amor. Y allá donde se la llevaron era un infierno.
Ella tenía marcas aquí, así como si lo hubieran puesto sobre el piso. Yo la observé, pero en ese momento me dolió mi corazón, pero no quise llorar porque dije, algo aquí está raro, algo aquí está extraño. Y cuando yo la vi, yo no quise llorar en ese momento. Le hablé a mi hermano Gamaliel y le dije, ¿sabes qué, Gama? Vente de volada y pide a la niña porque la maltrataron, le digo, y la niña no se ve bien.
Madelaine Martinez Olivas was born on June 29th, 2021 in Victoria, Durango, to Sarai Martinez. Little is known about Madelaine's dad and who he is or if he was ever involved in her life. But what is known is that Madelaine was spoiled by her aunts, her uncles, and her grandmother. They all considered her to be one of their own, so like their daughters. She was the baby of the household, so everybody gravitated towards her and just loved her endlessly. According to her maternal family, they describe her as being a vivacious, rambunctious little girl who was full of love and charisma. And often, neighbors would see her playing around outside in the front yard of her grandmother's house with her toys and her baby dolls. According to testimonies, they say that Sarai was a very loving and caring mother. She wouldn't really post that much of her on her social media platforms, but her family basically says that she really loved her, but it never really showed, like, you know, virtually of how she loved her.
She was an attentive mom, nomás que no enseñaba.
Yeah, she didn't
online,
show
she wasn't showing it off, which is, I mean, that's not a problem, right? I mean, Did they say that porque lo miraban como un problema? Or, I mean...
A lot of people assumed that it was an issue just because of what happened afterwards.
Okay.
She had her when Sarai had her when she was 20 years old. So she was still, growing up, and she still felt that, that big responsibility of having a daughter and trying to balance the life of being a single mother, a mother, and still, being able to provide. So she was still trying to handle the balance between all three of those, topics. According to different testimonies, it said that Sarai and Osvaldo Alejandro met in June of 2023 and began to, post more frequently on their social media platforms about the relationship and less about her daughter. So it started to show this transition of, I'm in love with this person, with these very romantic quotes and captions and all these things, but you rarely saw her express those same things when it came to her daughter. Osvaldo Alejandro Núñez Cortés was born in La Paz, Baja California, to Carmen Cortés Flores. In the beginning of 2023, Osvaldo and Carmen moved from Baja California to Durango to live with relatives. This house was a few blocks from Sarai's home, so they assumed, based on different articles, they assumed that, since they were so relatively close to each other, that, they would cross paths a lot, and that's how they began to, talk to each other. According to his Facebook, Osvaldo was also a father to a 3-year-old. So his 3-year-old and Sarai's 2-year-old were around the same age, around experiencing the same things. However, it is known that the little boy actually lived with his mom, and Osvaldo never really interacted with him. There's only a few photos of them together. According to other posts on his Facebook page, it is shown that he also had issues with drugs, and he was addicted to them. So that was maybe one of the possibilities that's why he didn't have a good relationship with his son. On December 17th, 2023, Sarai decided to move in with Osvaldo and took Madeline with her.
Yeah. Eso fue rápido. Wow.
Yeah, so they met around the beginning of 2023, they got together in June, and they moved in together in December. This was moved so quickly, and it took the family by surprise because it's very unusual that they moved on so quickly. But also, let's remember, Osvaldo and Carmen live in a home that's not theirs. When you see different videos and stuff, it's shown that Osvaldo had a room in that house. And that was basically his house, his side of the house, quote unquote. So it's not like he had the house to himself. He only had a room. Sarai and Madeline moved in with him to that room. And that was their own private space.
They're so young también.
Right? They were both in their 20s.
20?
Yeah, when
early 20.
Yeah, when they got both moved in together, they were 21.
Okay.
And then when all of this happened, they turned 22 afterwards. So they were in their 20s. According to Teresa.
I mean, I know there's relationships que van rápido y funcionan, right? But, and I don't know, this is just my personal thing. I mean, I don't have a child, but I've heard other parents say, cuando tienen un hijo, una hija, and they're dating, están conociendo a personas, it's harder to date when you have a child because you want to make sure you know this person before you introduce them to your child. So it takes parents a while for them to introduce the person to, you know,
and to acclimate with each other.
But paso a paso.
Yeah, but they moved on so quickly. I'm saying, from the moment that they began posting about each other on social media, you just could see that they were so in love. And I think that moved into being, to fast forwarding their relationship and going in and moving in together. Which, to me, it's already a red flag, but, who am I to judge?
Right.
According to Teresa, even though they lived only 2 blocks away from each other, she was never allowed to see Madeleine. So even though they lived in such a close proximity, she was not allowed to see her. Other testimonies, I don't know how it happened, but Samuel and his brother eventually would see Madelaine, but for the most part, Teresa was not allowed to see the girl.
Samuel was the uncle?
Samuel is the uncle, and then there's another one of her uncles that speaks out, and they both were allowed to see her, but they had to ask for permission to see her. Yeah, okay. It's weird, I know. According to Samuel, Sarai's brother, Madelaine, and also Madelaine's uncle, he had seen that Madelaine had been suffering from extreme violence for the past 2 months at the hands of either her mother or her mother's boyfriend or su suegra, basically. They didn't know what was going on in the household because they were never allowed to visit. They were never allowed to go to the home, and they rarely got to see her. The only thing that they could see were little glimpses of her whenever they would let her, see each other, or, take her out or something. But it was very, very few, a few times that they would see each other. According to Teresa, even though they lived 2 blocks away from each other, she told different outlets that they weren't allowed to see her. They had to ask for permission to see Madeline. So again, another red flag. They're being very distant. They're not being allowed to see either Sarai or Madelaine. And they live so close together. So it's crazy. According to Samuel, Sarai's brother and Madelaine's uncle, he starts telling different outlets that he began to notice a different characteristics in Madelaine that weren't her normal characteristics. Okay. He said that he began to see that she started to lose a lot of weight. She started to look very tired. There was a lot of, small bruises around her body, like her arms or her legs. And that whenever she would run, she would just kind of look tired afterwards, almost oh, can you carry me? Or can you carry me, Tío? And he would see that she just looked exhausted. That she was so unbelievably underweight that it just broke his heart. Because, they spoiled her, they gave her everything that she wanted. So to see a different change between who she was when she was with them before they moved out to now, it just showed 2 different, children. According to the family, they also said that they had seen a change in her attitude. Instead of being, bubbly and happy and fun and charismatic and very loving, she began to burst in, have little bursts of violent outbursts. And she was very easily frightened. So anything that would happen, it would scare her. And it was out of the ordinary because, she was never treated badly where she was at. So they just assumed something bad was happening. Samuel told debate.com, quote, "Ella tenía marcas aquí, así como si le hubieran puesto sobre el piso y yo lo absorbé en los momentos. Me dolió el corazón, pero no quise llorar, porque dije, algo aquí está raro, algo aquí está extraño. Y cuando yo la vi, no quise llorar en ese momento. Le hablé a mi hermano Jamali y le dije, vente de volada y pide a la niña, porque la están maltratando." Samuel also told the outlet that on 2 different occasions, Madelaine had also asked him if he could kill her mother, which is crazy to me. She's 2 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he told debate.com, quote, "Le dije que, mija, qué chiquita, ¿por qué la voy a matar, mi reina?" Y dijo, sí, pégale como a mí me pega, en la cabeza. Entonces yo le dije, ¿quién te pega en la cabeza, mi corazón? Y me dijo, Maddie no llora, Maddie no debe de llorar, porque ella es dura, ella es fuerte. Y Maddie no llora, nadie no debe de llorar. This poor child. was basically forced to not say anything. She's 2 years old.
Y eso que acaba de decir ella era porque lo escuchó de alguien.
Yeah.
Es lo que le decían a ella, que no llorara.
Yeah,
Que es
exactly.
fuerte, no llores.
Exactly. And it's so heartbreaking because she was like, my mom hits me in the head. To me, if I would have heard that, my heart would have shattered.
First, the bad news. SAP Business AI won't generate amusing holiday cards, but it will personalize career paths for your employees and let you know which suppliers are best, so you can be ready for the next opportunity. Revolutionary technology, real-world results. That's SAP Business AI.
High Five Casino lets you play your favorite slot and live table games like blackjack with the chance to redeem for real cash prizes. High Five Casino has a giant selection of over 1,200 games, including hundreds of exclusive games only found on High Five Casino. It's always free to play, and free coins are given out every 4 hours. Ready to have your own high five moment? Visit highfivecasino.com. That's high, the number 5, casino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.
Teresa told outlets that on February 24th, 2024, she and her family sought help from Durango's Desarrollo Integral de la Familia, also known as the DIF. According to Teresa, they did not receive the necessary attention from the authorities. They accused the government of neglection and to let this tragedy continue its course. When they approached Sarai and told her that they found bruises on Madeline and what she was saying, she denied everything and did not allow them to help or get near Madeline.
It's so hard not to hate these parents.
Oh yeah,
Like
100%.
not to,
to point fingers or to judge or to say anything, because we really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. On March 30th, Madeline was admitted to the hospital with head trauma, brain swelling, and other injuries. At the time, Sarai claimed that Madeline had hurt herself when she fell out of bed. But upon further examinations, they realized that the injuries were due to physical abuse against the child. When Madeline was examined by the doctors, they pointed out that the injuries that she had on her head were not typicals of a fall, determining that the injuries were extremely serious. On March 31st, Madeline's family found out that Madeline was in the hospital and that she was in intensive care. When Teresa arrived to the hospital, the director of the hospital gave Teresa the diagnosis of Madeline's injuries. They were holding on to hope that she would recover from her injuries. Teresa was also informed that the person who took Madeline into the hospital was Osvaldo's mother, Carmen, who shortly after dropping her off, left Durango and is accused of accomplice to the mistreatment of Madeline. Teresa also told outlets that Sarai was working at La Farmacia Guadalajara at the time that Madeline's injuries occurred. Teresa also told outlets that Sarai was working at La Farmacia Guadalajara at the time of Madeline's injuries, and that based on what was going on that day, she wasn't part of whatever mistreatment that was going on with Madeline at the time. Teresa also told outlets that Sarai was a victim of gender-based violence by Osvaldo, and that she was suffering through domestic violence while being with him at his home. Although the family hoped that Madeline would recover from all those injuries that she had, Madeline passed away on March 31st at 7 p.m. Madeline's body was then transferred to the Forensic Medical Service to perform an autopsy to further examine her cause of death. According to medical examiners, Madeline's autopsy reports show that she had a blow to the head from being slammed against the wall. She had strangulation marks on her legs from being tied up, bruises all over her body, as well as being sexually abused.
Hijo de su. I'm sorry, I'm gonna curse, but hijo de su
Yeah.
puta madre, because it's like, are you...
Yeah.
Ugh.
And all these injuries were confirmed to be done by Osvaldo.
By him.
Yeah.
Fucking monster, that's what he is. Like, I don't know. It's so frustrating que gente como esta existe.
Oh, 100%. And I think
a 2-year-old.
She's 2
I mean, no
years-
matter the age, but
Yeah.
2 years old, like.
And when you see her face and her eyes and just like the way she expressed herself, you see that this little girl had so much light and so much love. And for somebody to just do such horrendous things to her, it's just completely and absolutely tragic. And there's just no words for it. According to
Sorry, I interrupted you. I didn't even let you finish. You were just...
No.
I'm like, it was...
It was a lot. It was a lot. When I read the autopsies, what they said about the autopsy, I was just floored and shocked. And I could not imagine that somebody would do this to anyone, let alone a 2-year-old. So
la empujó a una pared.
Yeah.
Le pegó en la cabeza.
Yeah.
La tenía
And
amarrada, you said?
he had tied her up. And this is according to the bruises that she had that day. But according to the autopsy, there was many more bruises before those. There's also this, I can't remember the medical term, but it's when your skin is like turned slightly yellow from the constant being like constantly hit in a certain way, to the point that like your body just like turns into a yellow tint, almost like a bruise, like before it becomes a bruise. And there was also a lot of old injuries from being hit, so it was either in her head or in her body or her legs. She was definitely abused and tortured for months, and sadly Sarai didn't do anything to stop it. And again, we can't blame her because we don't know the situation she was going through. But at the same time, it's so heartbreaking that this animal had the audacity to do something so horrendous to a 2-year-old, and that literally nobody did anything to stop her. Mind you, he lived in a room in a house. So if Sarai couldn't do anything about it, ahí vivía su mamá de él, ahí vivían sus familiares de él, somebody could do something.
Alguien escuchó a la niña gritar.
Yeah. Based on like a short clip that I had seen about his family, they said that they didn't hear anything. That they only rented that room to him, and after that they never saw anything. That they would see the little girl like playing outside, or be in the room, or be in the house, but everybody kept coming in and out of the home and they didn't hear anything.
It's hard to say this, but que le haya tapado la boca, or...
Yeah. And there's also another one that said I forgot who it was, but she had mentioned that maybe drugs were the reason that he might have done it. Also, understandable, but also doesn't justify the fact that he hurt this little girl.
Dijiste que Sarai, la mamá, right?
Uh-huh.
Ella reportó que él también le pegaba a ella.
It doesn't say that she said it. This just comes from the mom. The mom said that he detached Sarai so much away from them, to the point that she wasn't talking to them, wasn't letting them know what was going on. They only assumed that she was suffering through domestic violence, but as of now, there hasn't been
No confirmation.
There hasn't been a confirmation to understand what actually happened. According to testimony from her uncle, Samuel, from the moment that Sarai met Osvaldo, Madeline suffered aggression from him and his mother. At the time Madeline was admitted to the hospital, both Sarai and Osvaldo were arrested and placed in the in the hands of the public prosecutor's office. After Madeline passed away, their legal status changed from endangerment to murder. So luckily, they had them arrested because the doctors actually acted fast once they saw Madeline come into the hospital and witnessed that the injuries that she had held weren't recent, that they were from a long time ago, and she was brutally murdered by these two individuals. During Madeline's funeral, angry mobs gathered in the streets and demanded justice, since they feared that the couple might escape. Residents of the neighborhood began to press Osvaldo's mother, whom they accused of beating Madeline as well. They were also calling out the entire family to leave the community, displaying various signs that were labeled as, quote, family of a rapist. They constantly approached the home and asked the family to leave, to the point that police were actually afraid that they would either burn the home or lynch the family and take matters into their own hands. In addition to the protest, a heartbreaking video circulated on social media showing a used diaper that belonged to Madeline that had stains of blood on it. This provoked even more rage in the community. As the crowd began to grow, authorities feared that the mob was going to lynch Osvaldo's family. The population demanded that Governor Esteban Villegas guaranteed that the case does not go unpunished and Madeline would receive the proper justice that she deserves. Teresa told debate.com, quote, ahorita que fuimos allí a esa casa, esto fue lo único que rescaté de mi niña. Estos juguetitos son los que ella jugaba. Y esta es mi niña. Mire qué hermosa está mi niña. Pura felicidad. Se le dio amor y a donde se la llevaron era un infierno. Era todo un infierno lo que pasó a mi niña. When I saw that quote, I was heartbroken because that was her baby. On April 4th, 2024, Osvaldo Alejandro Núñez Cortés and Madelaine Martínez Olivas were sentenced to 44 years, 11 months, and 29 days in prison for aggravated feminicide against Madelaine Martínez Olivas. They were also sentenced to pay a fine of 351,766 pesos and the amount of 1,259,585 pesos to compensate the damages. As of now, the family continues to demand justice, urging the authorities to arrest the third person involved in Madeline's murder. They also call on Tesaraí to reveal the truth of what happened to her in that home, and hoping to have some sort of closure on what really happened to Madeline, since they still don't know what exactly happened to her in the home. According to the family, they said that the local authorities have threatened to silence and intimidate them because they don't want the public to know about the abuse that was reported back in February and how they didn't do anything to prevent Madeline's murder. They also declared that the local prosecutor's office has sent death threats towards them for demanding an explanation. They beg for the intervention of federal authorities since they fear for their lives. Madeline's uncle created a YouTube video explaining in details on what happened to her and provided information about the case. They asked Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, First Lady Beatriz Gutiérrez Müller, and the Governor of Durango, Esteban Villegas, for help in securing the justice Madeline deserves. Although Madeline suffered during the last few months of her short life, one thing is for certain, her family will not stop fighting for her. The people of Durango will continue to demand justice. Her voice will be heard, and we can only hope that more children will be protected by those who are meant to love them. This is the tragic case of Madelaine Martínez Olivas.
Y a mí lo que me duele en mi corazón, que esa gente que tiene poder, que tiene autoridad, que son las leyes, que son la gente que según nosotros confiamos, que son la gente que nosotros les damos la autoridad, que nosotros ponemos ahí en aquel lugar, nos defraudan, nos amenazan todavía ese día. Acá mi hermano, el comandante Porras, lo subió a la camioneta y dijo que si seguíamos dando que nuestras vidas estaban en peligro.
La implicada se llama Carmen Cortés Flores. Ella ya está allá en La Paz, Baja California. Entonces, si supuestamente ella no tiene nada que ver, entonces no, ella misma, sí, o sea, ella misma, ¿por qué huyó? El que nada debe, nada teme, ¿verdad? Y ella ya huyó de aquí. Creo que aunque sea mi hija, creo que son muy pocos años, pero les vuelvo a repetir, falta la principal implicada, y es lo único que pido. Son muy pocos años para toda la tortura que le hicieron a mi niña, para todo lo que le hicieron a mi niña, son muy pocos años.
And that was the case for this week. I know that it's always hard for us to talk about children and, children's brutal murders like this, because it's something that any murder is wrong, but this just hurts a little bit different because there were children, there were kids, they're innocent. There's something so pure and so sweet and just so innocent about them that you just feel like anybody who would harm a child is just completely out of their mind. But yeah,
they're monsters.
They are.
Every time we talk about like a child, like a case that has to do with a child, it always feels so tense.
Yeah.
Like my body just gets so tense, and I just feel so angry, and
yeah.
I wish I could say stuff, but I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
I know,
it's frustrating.
It is, and I feel like we never get, because there's no such thing as justice when it comes to any murder, but especially to kids. Because you're just like, oh, you did something so horrible to this child.
Que no se puede defender una niña de 2 años.
Yeah. She was so sweet and loving and caring, and you destroyed all of that for your own needs, your own weird satisfaction. It's horrible. But anyways, that's the case for this week. Again, we can go on and on about how much we hate it, but I think we want to pass the topic to you, and for you to let us know your thoughts on the case. What are you thinking about? Your opinions? Any sort of details on it that we might have missed? Anything. The floor is open to you guys to leave your suggestions or comments, and we just want to hear from you guys and just talk about it. It's horrible, but if you guys have or want, the platform's open for you guys. You can follow us on our social media platforms where we can leave the post about this episode. You can follow us on Instagram, on Threads, on TikTok, or on Twitter, or X as it's known now. Just follow us at SVSM_podcast, or you can follow us on Facebook at Sometida Podcast. Just type it on there. We should be the first ones to pop up. And then we have a YouTube channel if you want to see the video portion of this. It should be up within like that same week that we post any episodes, so it's going to be there. Just look
it out there.
Yeah, for sure. Just type in Sometida Podcast. Remember to add the podcast at the end, because other than that, you'll see a whole bunch of videos of a very popular Mexican band. But our favorite band. So just type that in on YouTube and we should pop up. Let's see. You can also listen to the rest of the 119 episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever you stream podcasts. Just type in Sometida Podcast and our catalog should be there.
The number one podcast in my head.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say, oh, girl, I don't think so. I don't think so. Those streams say otherwise. No, just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, you can listen to the rest of our catalog on those. And anything else? Anything else? Am I forgetting anything else?
Is ready for the Ember months.
Oh my God,
September,
yeah.
October, November.
September, October, November, December. We love it. It's my favorite time of the year. Woo! It's gonna start getting colder now.
Pasan más rápido.
I
De
know,
por sí,
right?
January to like August was like this. The next 4 months are just gonna go like this.
Yeah, like in a blink of an eye, it's already December. We're like, what?
Yep.
Also, I'm wearing a cardigan the first time in like a couple of weeks.
In a year. I'm kidding.
No, so I'm really happy about that. It's getting cold in LA at least,
Good
so
for you.
I'm really happy about that. But anyways, we're back.
We're back. Yes.
We're
Hi.
back. Sorry for leaving you guys abandoned for 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Finally back from Mexico. Ali is doing her thing like she always does. What's up? And yeah, we're back. Officially our 5th season.
Yes.
Right? 5th season. We don't know if we should continue calling it a season, but we're still gonna call it. It's a 5th season. And yeah, we're excited. There's also a super cute little announcement, but I don't know if we can announce it today. Maybe in the next episode.
Okay.
But it's very
Wait, are
cute.
you pregnant? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Wait.
right. No. About the other
I know.
thing.
Yes, I know. I'm pregnant. No, I'm kidding.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I'm kidding. It's the other thing. Yeah.
It's the other thing. But
Yeah,
I
so
don't know
find
if we
out soon.
can now announce it today, but definitely it should be on our podcast, Instagram, and our other socials this week. But yeah, we're excited about that.
It's great news.
It's great news. It's interesting.
We're excited for it.
Yeah, it's super excited, and it's super exciting to work with these people. So it's fun. That's all I can say. I can't spill anything more.
I feel like cuando like they're interviewing the celebrities, like actors in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's the next season? Like the next episode? They're like,
I
well, I can't really tell you,
Yeah.
but you know.
But I'm like horrible with secrets, so I'm just like, I
No,
want to
you
tell
are.
you guys so bad. But yes, anyways, officially season 5. Hello, hi.
Hi.
More episodes coming. We're finally in the last part of the year. We already have our costumes planned out. Need to buy the stuff, so we're excited about that. Yeah. Let us know what you're looking forward to for the end of the year.
Anybody having any Halloween parties?
I know. Can you send the
Para que
invite?
inviten.
No. Can you send the invite? Their email is. But yeah. Anyways, we're excited to see what the rest of the year has for us. And yeah. Anything else? Anything else I'm forgetting?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's it. We've rambled on enough. Anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. And we love you guys.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the stories, because this is why we do this.
Definitely. We really appreciate you guys sharing all these stories and talking about them, because it's just important to the family as well as it is to us. So we just want to say thank you so much, and we appreciate you. And yeah, we love you guys. Hearts everywhere. But have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Adios.
Bye. Stay spooky.
Quédate spooky. I miss doing that.
I know. We still do it when we're not recording.
Bye.
Bye.
First, the bad news. SAP Business AI won't generate amusing holiday cards, but it will personalize career paths for your employees and let you know which suppliers are best, so you can be ready for the next opportunity. Revolutionary technology, real-world results. That's SAP Business AI.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today for a free welcome offer that can get you spinning and winning right away. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.